Welcome to our lesson. Today, we'll learn how to ask and tell time in German. This is super useful for everyday conversations. We'll go over some phrases, the grammar behind Uhr, and common mistakes English speakers make. Let's kick things off with how to ask for the time.
Wie spät ist es, bitte? Wie spät ist es, bitte?
Did you catch that? Emily asked.
Wie spät ist es, bitte?
Which translates to what time is it, please? It literally means how late is it? This is the standard way to ask for the time in German, and adding bit makes it extra polite. Now, let's move on to how to respond.
Es ist 3 Uhr. Es ist 3 Uhr.
James replied with,
Es ist 3 Uhr.
which means it's 3 o'clock. Crucially, notice the word. It always comes after the hour. It means o'clock and is a masculine noun that doesn't change form here. Make sure to use it every time. Now, let's try something a little different.
Es ist 1:30. Es ist 1:30.
Emily just said,
Es ist 1:30.
which means it's 1:30. Here,
Huh?
means half. Beware of the common mistake among English speakers of putting the smaller number first. Don't do it. Always state the larger number first when using halb. Remember, this means half past the previous hour. Getting this right is key.
Wie spät ist es? Wie spät ist es?
James is repeating the question.
Wie spät ist es?
It's totally fine to do this if you want to confirm or ask again. Remember to use a slightly rising intonation to show you're asking a question. Practice the pronunciation and listen to native speakers.
Es ist 7:15. Es ist 7:15.
Now, Emily says,
Es ist 7:15.
meaning it's 7:15.
Viertel.
Means quarter and
Na,
means after. So it means 7:15. This Viertelnack structure is key for saying minutes past the hour.
Es ist 6:15. Es ist 6:15.
James correctly says,
es ist 6:15.
which means it's 5:45. Notice that means before, so this translates to 6:15. Remember, Viertel vor indicates minutes to the hour. A common mistake is mixing up vor and nach.
Es ist 5:10 Uhr. Es ist 5:10 Uhr.
Emily says,
Es ist 5:10 Uhr.
this translates directly to it is 5:10. The structure is simple, hour, Uhr, then minutes. No need for after or past here. This is a great way to practice the numbers we learned earlier. Once again, James asks,
Wie spät ist es, bitte?
it's always good practice to include bit, it shows you're polite. Don't forget the slightly rising tone when you're asking, and practice these key phrases out loud.
Ist 7:12 Uhr. Es ist 7:12 Uhr.
Now, let's look at expressing minutes beyond the quarter hours. We've covered Viertel. Let's see how to accurately say 5 minutes past or 10 minutes until using these concepts. Remember, we'll still use nach for past and vor for before. This builds directly on what you've learned previously, so pay close attention to the constructions.
Es ist 3:05 Uhr. Es ist 3:05 Uhr.
Excellent. Note how Uhr remains after the hour, but the minutes come directly after the hour's numeral. Pronunciation tip: pay attention to the subtle pause between the hour and the Uhr. A common mistake is pronouncing 3:05 too quickly, making it sound like a single word. It's actually two distinct phrases.
Es ist 10:20 Uhr. Es ist 10:20 Uhr.
Good job, Ben. Let's adjust the way we speak numbers above 10. Instead of saying 11 Uhr sein, we'll incorporate a few adjustments for clarity and ease of speech. We can express numbers like 21 to 59 by forming a compound number. It can feel awkward at first, but consistent practice will pay off.
Es ist 4:30 Uhr. Es ist 4:30 Uhr.
Excellent. Note how 30 integrates directly into the time expression. Numbers like 21 32 way, and so on express a joined integer. This avoids needing to repeat unnecessarily. Mastering these will greatly improve the fluency of your German.
Es ist 6:54 Uhr. Es ist 6:54 Uhr.
Fantastic. Notice how you combined those numbers. For clarity, when expressing minutes beyond 30, it's sometimes helpful to stress the first part of the compound number. For instance, emphasize 54 to distinguish it from other combinations. Incorrect emphasis can alter meaning. Ensure you practice this skill.
Es ist 8:69 Uhr. Es ist 8:69 Uhr.
Very well, Emily. While Noon is a valid number, over 59 minutes of the hour is not technically possible. We would typically rephrase this as Es ist 5 vor 9, it's 5 to 9. The key is to adapt your phrasing when the minutes exceed 59 using vor for the time leading up to the next hour.
Es ist 11:05 vor. Es ist 11:05 vor.
Excellent, Ben. You've correctly used vor to indicate the minutes before the next hour. A common error is trying to combine vor with a large number, for example, 12:65 vor. Remember that vor automatically implies that we're talking about minutes leading to the next hour, hence requiring no additional compound numbers above 59.
Es ist 2:30 Uhr vor. Es ist 2:30 Uhr vor.
Perfect, Emily. This reinforces how vor indicates the time approaching the next hour. You effectively avoided the mistake of including a compound number after vor. Now, let's practice converting between both verbal representations identifying the time in minutes nach and vor. This strengthens comprehension and recall.
Es ist 9:10 Uhr nach. Es ist 9:10 Uhr nach.
Yes, Ben. It's a great example. Remember, we minimize or generally omit the when it's clear from context. Let's transition to a rapid-fire practice round where I will state a time, and you must respond in using the nach format. We're reinforcing what we've already covered.
Es ist 5:05. Es ist 5:05.
Excellent, Emily. Now to increase the challenge, I'll state the time using only numbers. For example, noon. Your task is to translate this correctly into the full, grammatically correct time phrase, again, using the format with nach. This illuminates understanding beyond rote memorization.
Es ist 3:09 Uhr. Es ist 3:09 Uhr.
Marvelous, Ben. Let's elevate this further. I will give a series of numbers, separating them with commas which could represent any hour or minute. You must then accurately and fluently translate phrases with both nach and vor. This combines all the elements we've discussed so far, refining your linguistic skill.
Es ist 4:15 nach 6. Es ist 4:15 nach 6.
Splendid, Emily. Notice the fluency really improves when variations of the system are used. We can quickly adapt as needed. Let's pause here to quickly recap. We've covered basic Es ist constructions, minutes past the hour using nach, minutes before the hour using vor, and compound numbers relating to these respective conversions. We've also progressed towards suppressing where context permits.
Es ist 2:10 vor 9. Es ist 2:10 vor 9.
Excellent, Ben. This integrates benefits from earlier practice. This demonstrates solid understanding. Let's finish still with a final challenge. I'll give you a German time phrase. You will explain it in English, not just convert it. We can consider this final challenge completed.
Es ist 11:20 nach. Es ist 11:20 nach.
Today, we'll learn how to combine different time expressions using und, which means and. This allows you to express more complex times, such as saying it's 5 o'clock and 10 minutes past. This is useful when you want to be more precise or just provide a complete description of the time. Remember that the order of the phrases stays the same, first, then nach or vor, connected by und.
Es ist 3:20 nach. Es ist 3:20 nach.
Emily correctly used und to link the hour and the minutes. Notice that
Es ist 3:20
is followed by.
nach.
The pronunciation of Zwanzig can be tricky. Don't forget the Z is pronounced like TS. A common mistake is to insert unnecessary articles or change the order. Always retain the first, then nach or vor, and finally connect them with.
Es ist 8:05 vor. Es ist 8:05 vor.
Let's do a quick recap. We've learned how to ask
Wie spät ist es?
and respond using Halb Viertel, nach, and vor. Keep practicing consistently. Watch out for the tricky placements of Halb and Viertel. To sum up, you now have the basics of telling time in German. Focus on practicing the phrases we've covered, especially Halb and Viertel. Don't forget to include and remember when to use nach or vor. Viel Erfolg. Good luck.
Versuche jetzt die Uhrzeit zu einer Freundin zu sagen. Übe das mit den Vokabeln, die wir gelernt haben. Versuche jetzt die Uhrzeit zu einer Freundin zu sagen. Übe das mit den Vokabeln, die wir gelernt haben.